And I came here from Idaho, and I am here to support Colorado and the nation in the effort to stop extreme dirty energy extraction and the corporate oligarchy that controls it at the expense of communities across the country. We have 18 wells currently, and industry is knocking on our door and trying to get in a big way. Yes, and we think that Idaho is too great to be fracked. Well, I actually have been involved in this issue in Idaho since 2010. But yes, something did happen that made me all the more realize how the corporations are in control and how we the people have no voice in this process. And because I was arrested in a public meeting in Idaho back in October of 2014.
Stop the frack attack! Stop the frack attack! Stop the frack attack! Stop the frack attack! Let me hear you! Stop the frack attack! Stop the frack attack! A little louder! Stop the frack attack! Stop the frack attack! Stop the frack attack! Stop the frack attack! Clap your hands!
Well, I had spoke at a public hearing and given testimony, and our commissioners, our planning and zoning commissioners, in addition to our 3 county commissioners, have all signed oil and gas leases. And even though state law requires that they recuse themselves or at least make mention of the fact that they could have conflict of interest, they had not. And so I called them out in this particular meeting and basically said, I'm so tired of you guys getting up here and voting and not, you have oil and gas leases, you haven't disclosed them, and it's wrong. And I called them out. Well, they closed the meeting, and then during the closed portion of the meeting, they used it to launch into a personal character assassination attack on me. And I stood up and said, point of order, and they said, sit down and shut up. And I said, no, this isn't right, you can't do this. And so they basically said, shut up and or you're going to be arrested. And I said, I'm not going to, it's not fair that you do this. And so long story short, they sent the bailiffs in and they arrested me, charged me with trespass in a county courthouse that my property tax dollars pay for at a public meeting in a public building. And then they held me for 8 days. And I wanted to exercise my Miranda rights. They were really mad because I wouldn't cooperate in their booking process, and I said I want to talk to an attorney, and they would not give me an attorney. I was brought before a judge on 3 different occasions without counsel.
What do we want?
Stop fracking!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Stop fracking!
When do we want it?
Now!
And held for 8 days, 5 of which were in a line cell, which is the county equivalent of solitary confinement, basically. And so it was kind of interesting, and that was a real eye-opener for me, because I don't even have an unpaid parking ticket. So it was very obvious to me what had happened and how broken the system was. So that's why I'm here.
Climate change, no fracking. It's all about the change. Climate change, no fracking. It's all about the change. Climate change, no fracking. This is my water, my only water. And if you frack it, it will turn gray. Then we can't use it because it's toxic. Won't you take your fracking away?
need to let these companies know enough is enough, and we're not going to stand aside and watch you corrupt the land, the water, the air, the environment, the ways of life of the people. What answers do you have to correct this?
Keep it in the ground.
You don't have. We say that you.
Keep it in the ground.
We have to recognize and find solutions for better ways of coming together and building a better future. This company has not done that. It's in violation of our indigenous rights and how they have to come and get prior conformed consent and educate our people, our elders, our customary laws as indigenous people. This company, the federal government, all agencies and departments affiliated with this project, and all investors are in violation of our human rights as indigenous people.
Keep it in the ground. Keep it in the ground.
Keep it in the ground. My main concern as an indigenous woman is that our elements that heal us back home are in danger. The elements that the medicine people use. We have the fire. We pray to the fire. That's in danger with the flares. We have the water. We pray to the water to nourish our bodies. That's being contaminated. The air, that's being polluted and contaminated.
You can go up to some places in the Rockies and find 80–85% of the trees have been taken down by beetles. And this is something that's only going to get worse as it continues to get warmer.
These companies need to realize that we are at the front lines, and we have been since colonization started. May their marble walls crumble!
I'm from Eastern Agency, and I just wanted to cover on environmental racism and how sick it is that Saddle Butte is aiming towards my people. Not only that, the emergence place of Navajo people. How dare they come up and threaten our groundwater, the only source of water that we have on my land. How dare they come and try to contaminate that? And not only that, but propose a pipeline. You have our land, you have our kids, you have our women. What more do they want?
So we're attacked all across Turtle Island, all across South America. They're coming for our land, for our people, for our ways of life, our medicines. You know, we've got to stand up, fight this fight in the right way, in a spiritual battle. You know, we can't. That's how we got to fight this fight. You know, we got to unite together as one.
What you need to kill beetle larvae over winter is sustained temperatures below freezing for 3 weeks at a time. And the problem is that's just not happening anymore on the eastern slopes.
You have the opportunity to set an example to help restore justice to people who have had justice stripped from them, people of all race, all culture, all heritage, who have been trampled on for too long. Step forward and do your jobs.
Hey y'all, Ray Kemble, Dimmick, Pennsylvania, EPA Regional 3. EPA came in and started doing water testing in Dimmick. Same thing they did with John. And Steve Lipsky out of Texas. They turned around and did the testing. And they came back and gave me the report. Hand delivered it. It was a spreadsheet. They came back a week later with another test result. This is the right one. The first one we gave you is wrong. We want that back. Get off my property. They went national on the 22nd of July, 2012, said there's nothing wrong with the water in Dimmick, Parker County, or Pavilion, Wyoming. They were ordered out of the water testing. The agents came back and told me they were ordered by the White House to drop the investigations. We were screwing up the election of the president in 2012. Well, that's just too damn bad. Do your job or we will have you all fired and disassemble the EPA and take it down.
And I think the number one thing that we all have, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, what socioeconomic status you're at, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
Poison air, we get sick and they don't care. Poison water, poison air, we get sick and they don't care.
Citibank actually published a study this week. Continuing to use fossil fuels as we have been for the next 25 years versus making the equivalent of investment in renewable energy over the next 25 years. And what they found out was that globally, it would save us about $2 trillion in direct costs. To go renewable right away. And in addition, it could save as much as $30 trillion in environmental and disaster cleanup.
It will turn gray, then we can't use it because it's toxic.
Our population is growing on the Front Range in leaps and bounds, and so is oil and gas. And how do we live together and work together safely and make sure that our communities are healthy?
All right, if I can have all of the speakers, everybody who offered to come and speak, if y'all would come work your way up here to the front, please.
I think the most important thing about this whole day is the diversity of people that we have around us. Because no matter what is going on in the environment or in politics, the most important thing is that we accept the differences amongst us and we learn to work as a people all together under the solidarity of saving the future and being sure that that's a healthy future that we can be proud that we worked hard to preserve. So I've seen a lot of people here today that I've never met before, and for me that's the best thing. The fantastic people that came from Chaco, everybody across the state of Colorado, from the 31 states present. And it lets me know that we're on the right path. The people here care enough to travel from all over this country, take their time out of their busy schedules, spend their own money, and be away from their families in order to save their families. We're all here for the right purpose. I'm proud to stand with you anytime. I'll go anywhere in the country to help anybody. You're all my family. We're all a big family on Mother Earth, and we're here for the right reasons. Thank you very much. And keep kicking it and keep doing it.
I'm retired Methodist pastor after 42 years, and my last appointment was over on the Western Slope. Moved to Parachute in 2010 to serve the Methodist Church there, and when I came, my PSA test for prostate was completely normal, but after having lived there around a number of fracking wells surrounding my home, within a year and a half, I had advanced cancer and had to have it treated immediately and had surgery done, but discovered that many of my parishioners in the community also suffered various forms of cancer, and those who had compromised respiratory systems, COPD, whatever, emphysema, they have had to move out of the community because of the benzene and methane gas emissions, volatile organic compounds, and everything else. And the promise was it was going to be a boom to the economy from the oil and gas companies. In the 2 years I was there, they fracked 10,000 wells, and they were built next to schools, churches, the public library, which is right also off the Colorado River, right on the golf courses. And during that time, I witnessed many people getting sick, coming down with various forms of cancer and respiratory disorders. And my oncologist and urologist told me that they believed that there was a link between all of the fracking activity in Garfield County and the spikes in severe health issues. A large cancer hospital, a 10-story hospital, was built to handle all the cases, in Garfield County at the Valley View Hospital there. One of my members who sold several of his ranches allowed fracking on their property, and the fracking fluid contaminated the irrigation supply onto the ranch, killing the cattle and horses and contaminating that. That was in Parachute Creek, and it was publicized in the local paper there. So my issue is another thing that was promised when the oil and gas companies came into Parachute and all over there, Rifle, DeBeck, and all of these other counties. They promised that it would be a big boost to the economy and helping jobs. But quite the contrary. Many people have had to move away, businesses have closed, there are no jobs, real estate prices have plummeted as people have moved away from their homes, especially retired people, but also young families with children. School enrollment is down, poverty level is up. 2/3 of the children now qualify for free lunch programs. People are tired of living with the benzene and methane gas emissions and the volatile organic compounds that are being released. They're tired of all the noise and the dust and the traffic of the fracking related trucks. When will we be able to reclaim our towns and restore them to a healthy state once again? It's up to us.
My name is Ann, and I am a proud mother and a citizen of Colorado for 52 years. And I have seen a lot of changes since I was young. Pollution over the sky in places that shouldn't have pollution, out in the eastern plains. And since November of 2014, our home and community have been under attack by the oil and gas industry. Our family and our concerned neighbors have been overwhelmed by a process that doesn't consider the constitutional rights of neighboring property owners. The CRGCC has not protected our rights to safety, health, clean environment. And though they have put the completely inappropriate 24 wells and 2 mega industrial petrochemical plants planned for our historically significant bucolic high-density community on hold, they have not done the right thing yet. which is to ask Encana to withdraw the permits for all of the wells to protect our rights and our safety and our health. By chance, we have found out about these two egregious sites that are within 1,500 feet to a quarter mile of our homes by our lost cat, who prompted a conversation. My neighbor who found the cat was the only person in our entire community who was contacted about the proposed developments, and he wasn't given any details. And this discovery led to countless hours by numerous neighbors of communication and desperation and failed negotiations with Encana and the COGCC and representatives of Colorado. And those proposals are going to ruin our lives.
Ecosystems are going to change in the mountains as well, because as temperatures rise, organisms that are comfortable in a certain temperature range are going to have to move higher. And that's great if you're an animal. You know, most of the animals in the area will probably be able to do that, but not all. Forests can't move that fast. So, you know, if you're an animal that eats a certain species of wildflower, say, then it's, you know, you can move to the temperature range that you like, but your food source might not necessarily be there.
This is totalitarianism. This stands in stark contrast to Boulder County, whose voice we need to thank. They represent the silent majority of our wonderful state of Colorado and all the citizens and communities who are sure surface owners. 90% of the state are surface owners. Thank you, Boulder County. And even neighbors who are in the our taxes pay the state government to wreak havoc in our way of life, our bucolic agricultural way of life in Colorado, our property values, and the very air we breathe. And we are supposed to just lie down and take it. And in fact, I have been ridiculed and laughed at by Mr. Lepore and Mr. King of the COGCC directly in the face of my suffering. Even neighbors who are also on the Weld County side of the line, albeit a half mile from Boulder County line, are dismayed and horrified at the scale of these operations and the lack of ability to change the proposals. The only people in our neighborhood for this are those two sites are the mineral owners, who are going to get millions of dollars in the short term. The rest of us will be forced to live with, against our wills, a whole list of egregious, non-neighborly experiences, including chemical trespass with methane and other poisonous emissions, 117,000 truck trips along our two-lane county road, and on a small dirt road that has 6 families, their only egress and ingress. Environmental blight, light, noise, permanent petrochemical plant infrastructures. Even the COGCC admits there is not enough money in escrow or otherwise to dismantle these mega industrial sites. So essentially, they're there forever.
Toxic legacy.
Communities, not just mineral rights owners, need to have their constitutional rights elevated and should have the ability to impact decisions in all aspects of the planning timeline. We have rights. This is not our grandfather's oil and gas extraction, which wasn't very good either. Communities have the right to ban, not just regulate, and we should not back down. Our children's future depends on what we do right now in each neighborhood, in each community, in the United States and in the world.
Buenas tardes, Colorado. Good afternoon, everybody. How's it going? My name is Gustavo Aguirre Jr. I'm from California Central Valley. I work for an organization. I'm a grassroots organizer with an organization called Central California Environmental Justice Network. And I'm here today to tell you that we are under attack in California. We are under attack in Kern County. As we speak today, our Board of Supervisors is meeting with the Planning Commission to open up the playing field for the whole oil industry and change zoning laws to frack wherever they want. And this is not right. This is not good. We in Central California have 90% of all oil operations in the state of California. 95% of that of the hydraulic fracturing that is occurring in our backyards in Kern County. And people are fed up with this. People are getting poisoned. People are taking hostage from oil companies. Last year, while Rod and others here from Colorado, from Texas visited us, they did a toxic tour of our city. And they were amazed by the things they saw, the things they felt, the things they smelled. In the city of Arvin, in the year 2013 and 2014, 8 homes, about 20 people were evacuated from their neighborhoods, all Latinos, all farm working communities, all marginalized, all poor and uneducated, were evacuated from their homes because a gas pipeline leaked under their homes. There was no public agency, no regulatory agency, no company that stood up and said, it is our fault, we are taking responsibility. No one said that. We took bucket samples, we took analyze of the samples, we did determination that there was benzene, methane, chlorobenzene in these homes poisoning these people. And what happened? Nothing. The DOG, which is the Division of Oil, Gas, and Geothermal Resources in the state of California, which regulates all oil operations, did nothing. They did nothing. And so it's sad to see that people in these communities are taken hostage. It's like the Wild Wild West all over again. And we're here to say, ya basta, no more. Sí se puede. 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 Thank you very much, Colorado.
Saddle Butte is a Colorado-based company that's responsible for proposing a 134-mile Pinon pipeline that stretches across Navajo Nation, state, federal, tribal land, and would quadruple oil production in the greater Chaco region. We're here asking not only that no more pipelines be built, but that there be no more reason for any more pipelines.
All right, our next Hall of Shame inductee, we would like to welcome up the EPA.
The EPA, and particularly Administrator Gina McCarthy, who has joined us here today, is getting inducted into the Hall of Shame for refusing to protect communities in Pavilion, Wyoming, Dimmick, Pennsylvania, and Parker County, Texas, and other communities all around the country that they have turned into sacrifice zones.
Our next inductee into our fracking Hall of Shame is Halliburton. Come on up, Halliburton. Oh, looking pretty scary there.
Halliburton, you have failed our nation. You lobbied for the exemptions to the laws we depend on for our safety and well-being, the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, and NEPA in the Energy Policy Act of 2005. Without your lobbying, without your dirty work, without your threats, without your carrots and sticks, prodding our politicians, we would not be standing here today. And it's a dirty, rotten shame that our nation is beholden to you, but it won't last forever. Go to our Hall of Shame now. Thank you.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Nice welcome. This is Matt Lepore. COGCC regulation, consistently touted as the strongest in the country, are empty words created to provide a false sense of security. Monitoring and reporting is left to the industry with notice given in advance of inspection. Self-regulation amounts to no regulations. Coloradans Against Fracking says enough. We the people simply cannot and will not recognize the legitimacy of a commission whose actions are detrimental to our health and safety and to the health and safety of our future generations. Both by their action and inaction, the Colorado and Oil and Gas Conservation Commission constantly and consistently fails to fulfill its mission, and by doing so fails to protect us. The residents of the state of the state of Colorado, they are charged with protecting. Therefore, we must, in all moral conscience, reject any authority the failed Oil and Gas Conservation Commission claims to hold, and will continue to work to truly protect citizens, wildlife, and the environment of the state of Colorado. Shame on you, Matt Lepore.
We have our very own Governor Hickenlooper here today.
Governor Hickenlooper, you already know that we have toxic pollution in our air and toxic pollution in our water. You know you failed us, and you have earned a place in the Hall of Shame, not only because of that, but primarily for what you have done to corrupt our democracy. It is utterly unacceptable that you have taken millions of dollars from the oil and gas industry and campaign contributions, and you have served their interests instead of the interest of your people, protecting their air and their water. Instead of doing that like you know you should, you are protecting the interests of the industry and accepting millions of dollars just for your inaugural celebration, let alone other campaign contributions. And you serve them well, and you do not serve us well. For shame.
I've seen projections that 70% of the aspen in Colorado will die by 2100 because it's going to get too warm for aspen below like 9,000 feet. So all those aspen forests are just going to basically get cooked where they sit.
At the service of the oil and gas industry, you have sued communities for attempting to protect themselves by adopting restrictions on oil and gas production and fracking and toxic air pollution and toxic water pollution. You have taken the side of the industry and facilitate lawsuits against our communities and our voters. For shame. You have gone so far as to suggest that our communities should compensate the industry whenever they choose to restrict it and protect their people. For shame. You have gone so far as to make dirty deals when the voters signed up to want to institute ballot initiatives that would protect our entire state, and you made dirty political deals to keep those measures off of the ballots and to deprive us of our rights to vote. For shame. And you have pressured the legislature not to protect us very successfully at the service of your oil and gas industry funders. As a result, we have delivered an F report card to our legislature for failing to protect our climate, failing to protect Colorado's water, failing to protect Colorado's air quality, failing to protect Colorado's public health, failing to protect Colorado's public safety, failing to protect Colorado's natural environment, failing to protect Coloradans' property rights, and failing to protect Colorado's voters. For shame. We will find a way to protect ourselves, and we will hold our elected officials and our agencies accountable.
Shame on you. Let's hear you. Shame on 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 you. Shame on
I think that's probably our main responsibility as people who are aware of the issue and want to do something about it, is going to be electing the people who are going to do the right thing.